No, delete that. Correct, delete. Shalom. It's looking good now, but the other one also looked good when I reconnected, so I don't want to, bleed out. Woo! Maybe while everyone's connecting, we'll, for those who didn't do it, we'll do the Shema V'Ahavta. Oh, this has not been adjusted for HD yet. It still thinks it's 4K. Hold on. Boom. Fit the screen. No, it isn't working. It does not want to. Ah, that part's okay. And this. All right, all right. Okay. Oh, great. People coming in. We're just going to do the Shema V'Ahavta while we're waiting for everyone, okay? So at least we're doing something productive. I won't be covering my eye traditionally because we have this. Wait, why is that like that? Weird. Okay. Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto Leolam Vayed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. All right, most people came back in. Great, so maybe that can be like our opening prayer. And you know, actually, this bit's nice too, right? As it continues on. והיו שמות תשמעו אל מצוותי אשר אנוכי מצווכם. היום נבע את אדוני אלוהיכם ולעבדו בכל לבבכם ולכל נפשכם, ונתתם את ארצכם בעתו יורים על כוש, ואספת את דגנך ואת שושרך ויצריך, ונתת עשב בשדך להבטך ואכלת ושבעת. Anyway, etc. So, but it's kind of nice because if you haven't read it, what follows is saying what's going to happen if you keep the Shema and such. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so wow, it's working. So Yaakov was right with your suggestion, and we only lost 4 people, so not too bad. Not too bad. The price of war. And start recording now. Baruch Hashem, Brenda. Yeah, new stream, working. I probably could have done 4K. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. You know what it's complaining about now? Now that we scrunched it down to HD instead of 4K, now YouTube is saying, suggestion, the current bit rate, 19,900 kbps, is higher than the recommended bit rate. So they want me to slow down the speed now. That's it. We're staying at HD. So mote it be. That's just how it is. Sorry for those of you watching on TVs and stuff. All right. Let's get to it now. Here we are. Genesis. Forget what the title says. Oh, let me change that title before I forget. Hebrew Immersion. I said Genesis. Exodus 26, verse 31 through, maybe we'll do 34 now because of the time issues. We'll see. We might do longer. Full Hebrew immersion. Boom. Shazam. And here we are. Ve'asita farochet tekhelet v'agaman v'tolat shani v'shesh moshzar. Maybe we'll stop right there. Ve'asita, so you shall do. Asita, you did. Ve'asita, you will do, or you will make. What will you make? A farochet. And Jeff got it right. The reason it's farochet and not parochet is the BeGaD KePhaT rule. So we have a ah here, and it's very close to this pei, which is a BeGaD KePhaT letter. And technically the munach tells us that they're kind of close together. There's not much of a pause. So the ah at the end of the ta removes the weak dagesh. So parochet and farochet are the same word, same meaning. It's just a pronunciation issue. So a parochet, this is a veil, like a kind of veil. Specifically, the parochet, it's the veil that separated the Holy of Holies from the other area in the Mishkan. Okay. Tekhelet. So this is the one you don't have to translate if you don't like. You could just say tekhelet. This is that color that it ranges from violet to kind of an indigo blue, somewhere in that range. It depends on when the sea snail staining substance was used. If it was at a certain time of day, the tekhelet will be one color. If it's another time of day, it'll be a different color. This is why some lexicons, you check them out, they'll say violet, right? Especially some of the older ones. And then you check out some of the newer ones, they'll say like blue or bluish. In Yiddish, tekhelet, for those who speak Mamloshen, it's tekhelet is Blauwolle. And you think, look, that's blue wool, right? So they're confident that it's Blauwolle, that it's blue. So you can just say tekhelet if you like, to not nail it down. I think that's part of the beauty of this color, actually. By calling it tekhelet, we realize that it's a range of colors, actually. It's not... Today, it's standardized, and they know what time they're going to do it in, and the halakha's kind of been, like, hammered down as it was rediscovered by the Baal Tekhelet in the 1800s. Polish rabbi went to Israel, and it was his purpose to rediscover the sea snail, well, the creature. In his case, he was just saying the creature. To rediscover the creature. Oh, there's still green on my screen behind me. Ah, and it's black. I know what's happening, thanks to Gary's instruction from last time. Hold on. All of you be erased. Okay, good. Just need to turn off my green screen effect on that. Hold on. Boom. Yay. Perfect. Okay. So, continue on. So, tekhelet's kind of, I think it's nice to say because it captures this essence of that it's those different colors, yeah? Yeah, I corrected the title. Yep. All right, 22. We got more in here than we had before. Look at that. Maybe we should keep closing the stream and restarting. Oh yeah, please hit like. Yeah, we're down on likes now. Oh, 27. Okay. Yeah, down. Just 16 likes I'm showing. Although maybe you don't like the technical issues, but it's not my fault. So, tekhelet, blue. Ve'agaman. Oh, good, right? We've got it. Yep, Blauwolle. Ve'agaman and purple. Ve'tolat shani. These go together to make a color, okay? The tolat is technically like a worm, like an earthworm color, right? But together, tolat shani, it's crimson red. Or crimson. We just say crimson. Ve'sheish. Sheish is alabaster color. This is an Egyptian word that we borrowed into Hebrew. Sheish is a fine Egyptian linen that is alabaster color, high quality. Moshzar. So moshzar This is a hophal participle, which means twisted. It's twisted. Ma'aseh choshev. Oh, okay, right. Ma'aseh choshev ya'aseh otah Cheruvim. Ma'aseh, the work, and notice it's from the same verb as asa. What do you asa? You asa a ma'aseh. That's the product of the verb, is a ma'aseh, a work or a handiwork of a choshev. Now, choshev is a fancy word. It can mean a lot of things, actually. So, a choshev is a thinker. Technically, it's a thinker, right? But choshev here in context really means an expert weaver, right? But it's an interesting title, right? He's a thinker. He's a thinker. He has to put thought into how to do this, right? How to do it properly. So that's the choshev. Chashava or machshevet, machshev. These are like digital products in modern Hebrew. Ya'aseh otah. Again, we have asa. He will make otah, it, literally her. Cheruvim. So probably we need to supply with Cheruvim. So the idea, the sages teach us that the Cheruvim, the so-called cherubs, that they were actually in the design. This wasn't like an embroidery that was done after the fact. When they grafted the fabric material together, they had the design as part of the fabric, made as part of the fabric. So that's kind of interesting. Yes, from chashav, that says, yes, chashav, to think or to calculate. Choshev, we also have, you have a cheshbon in modern Hebrew is a recibo, receipt. Okay. Verse Lamed Beit 32. ונתתה אותה על 4 עמודי שיטים מצופים זהב ובהם זהב על 4 אדני כסף ונתתה. And you shall give. Don't think about that hey at the end. This is just an older spelling for natata. It's from natanta. And maybe I'll diagram that just to remind you what's happening with this verb. I think the writing is going to work now. It's going to work. But let's change the color of this. Yeah, better. Okay. So you've got the verb natan. Oh yeah, working. Okay. Natan, to give, to set, appoint, place, etc. And when we put a ta at the end, the ta reminds us of ata, right? The ta is of ata. So we have this word you is... Okay, that is not how I drew that. Give respect to the aleph. Okay, ata. You, talking to a man. So we're going to keep, usually we just keep this part, right? And so we'd say natata. But in this case, we're keeping the whole ending of it. You see how they did that? So I'm just going to write that on there. The ta. Okay. Ta. This reminds us of this. You. And then what's going to happen, natanta, nobody likes to say that. And so the noon is going to assimilate. The green final noon, the noon sofit, is going to go inside and cause that tav to double. So he's going to go in here. And then he's gone from here. And we're left with, pardon me, natata. See, that's where the noon is inside there. And that's what this is. Okay? So that is a reminder of the noon. Natanta, ancient natanta, became natata. There's two tavs. Okay. Ve, so natata is you gave or you appointed. You set. And now that vav is our vav consecutive or vav I wanted to say correctional. I changed the color. That's fine. He changes the aspect. So instead of you gave, you set, you will set. So you will set ta. So this is just et, the definite direct object marker, et, with the suffix on the end, the ah at the end, right? That ah is she. Or her, right? So together, that reads her, all of it together. The whole thing is her. Okay. Her. Ta. Al, with, arba'a, for, amudei. Amad. This is amad from the verb amad. Amad, to stand. Like my bar mitzvah rabbi used to say, think of Ahmad Rashad, the basketball player. Oops, I'm blocking it. Ahmad, to stand. Okay. And so we have lots of words that come from this. The Amida, the standing prayer, right? And in this case, and Amud. Wait, is it Amud? We got here. Where are we? Yeah, Amud. Okay, good. And Amud, this is a noun that's formed by making what's called a passive participle. You don't have to know that. Just for those of you who have studied that stuff, maybe you'll like it. Okay, Amud. So Amud literally means like standing, right? Standing. Or actually, more appropriately, stooding. like stand it up it. Stand it up it is really what it is. It's something that is stand it up it. Stand it up. We'll just say stand it up. Let me turn off. The Hebrew literacy thing is blocking. Right? Amud, stand it up. Right? Because it's passive. If it was omed, then it'd be standing. Right? Or standing up. But amud, passive, stand it up. Okay? Which really means a column or a pillar. Hey, and Pilar's here tonight. Pilar from the Philippines. Talk to you today. Glad you're here. Hope you made it to the second stream. Okay, it's a column. So you can see how it comes. When you know the root, the verbal root, you can oftentimes kind of discern what many of the vocabulary words are that come from that same root. Very, very nice feature of Hebrew that makes your memorization task a little bit less. So amudim would be pillars. And then we drop the mem. Whenever you drop the mem from a plural ending in a m, you drop the mem, we get a. When you have a at the end, that means of. Of. So amudei is pillars of shittim. Shittim, which is acacia wood. Okay. Metzupim. Metzupim. So this verb is from tsaphah. Tsaphah, tsari, pei, hey. Oftentimes the hey goes away, right? We've seen this before. We've seen it as tsapita, ve'tsapita, and you shall overlay. This is a pual participle for those who care about that. So it's basically modifying the pillars. It's acting like an adjective for the pillars. So amudei shittim, acacia wood pillars, metzupim, overlaid with, we don't have there in the Hebrew, it could have said bait, but it didn't, zahav. Where'd my pointer go? Zahav, gold. Oh, now here it's kind of interesting. You guys, I think you're going to like this. I think you'll like this next one. Look at this next word. Let me pick a appropriate color. Oh, yellow's good. Look at this. Look at this word. So it says Vave hem. The hem you know, right? Hem is this when you have hem at the end of a word. Hem means they. So it can be to them if it's at the end of a verb, it can be dative like that, or them like accusative, or it can be even before them, sometimes like la hem for them. So it's their something. And vave That's the A that we just saw over here, the A ending, right? Which is of. So that's vavim, or would have been wawim back then. Now here's where it gets interesting. What? I'll get the questions in just a sec. What does? It's literally saying they're vavs. They're vavs. Anybody think of why it would say they're vavs? Maybe I should tell you what it means. Any ideas? I'll come back to it in a second then. I'll answer the questions. Let's see. Ted says, look, some of the later posts on chat from previous link carried over. Oh, interesting. Julie says, how important is it to put the vowel in the correct order? For example, if I reverse the two ow vowels in the beginning of the word nata, does it change the meaning? I'm not exactly sure what you're saying there, Julie. Sorry. I'm not understanding. So look, the scrolls are originally written without the vowel markers. But you can't just move them around. Yeah, you can't just move them around or you will change the meaning, right? Like a few months ago, I had a guy with a channel much bigger than ours, but he was commenting a lot on the videos, and I appreciate the feedback if you're out there. I'm not going to say who you are. I don't want to embarrass you, and he was changing the vowels. It felt like intentionally, right? Like instead of Yaakov, he'd say Yakub, which that's Arabic for Jacob, right? And instead of Todah, he'd say Tudah, right? And the problem with doing this is, particularly in the case of that vowel change, there are some vowels that are contested, right? What I mean is the different nusachs, the different traditions pronounce some vowels differently, right? Like Ashkenazim, this is always an O, right? You have the cants, it's always an O, okay? We're doing a quasi-Sephardic pronunciation here, kind of like in Israel, very similar to what's in Israel, right? So it's an ah, except when it's not, right? When it's not, then it's an O. So some vowels, like the cants here, do vary from tradition to tradition, but the strong vowel cholim, the vav cholim, is the same with everybody. That one doesn't change. Same as the strong shudik, right? And this isn't just for Hebrew, it's also for other Northwest Semitic languages. So we know how this was pronounced, this particular letter. So to call Yaakov Yakub or Yakub instead, it's really heretical, actually. Well, maybe not heretical, but it's heretical. I don't think Hashem would like it. Because Yaakov means he grabs the heel. Literally, it means he heals, right? Remember his hand was sticking out? He heals. But Yakub is passive. This means he was heel grabbed. You see? So by calling our ancestor Yakub, that means our ancestor is Esau. That would have been his name, the one who was grabbed on the heel, not the one who's doing the grabbing. You see? So, and there's other things too, like by putting a U in there, it's really strange. It's like trying to Arabicize Hebrew, trying to make it more like Arabic, and they're different languages. I'm not really sure what the motive would be for doing that. I have an idea, but I don't want to mention it, what I think the motive might be. But, because there's a lot of these groups that say, like, the Ashkenaz, they're not the real Jews and all that kind of stuff, whatever. And so to try to distance, but we're not the only ones who pronounce it this way. I mean, the Mizrahis say it this way, Sephardim say it this way, the Yemenites say it this way. I mean, we're all on board, right? We're all on board, on the same page, at least on this. And so there's really some of the ways they would call Yeshua, like Yahushu and Yahushuhu and Yahushua. And some of these words are right out heretical for calling Yeshua. We know Yeshua's name. We know what it was. It's not a mystery. Archaeologists know, historians know it was Yeshua, right? And it comes down into Aramaic as Yeshua, right? And there's some other, it depends on the dialect. There's some other, there's some others, some Yeshu and some other things like that it comes down to. But in Arabic, it's also Yeshua, right? And we can really backtrace when it comes into Greek, Jesus and all this stuff, why it's happening. There's really no question about his name. His name was Yeshua HaNotzri, right? Yeshua of Nazareth. But to say like Yahushu or Yahushua, this means God gets saved. God is saved, right? So you start messing with these strong vowels, the strong, and just trying to be, just don't do it, okay? We don't need to be rebellious about that stuff, right? Stand with Kalal Yisrael, stand with the community of Israel, with all of Israel. A lot of things we do just for the sake of Kalal, Leman Kalal Yisrael, my rabbi used to say, for the sake of Kalal Yisrael. Even, yeah, okay, enough. Okay. Let's see. Sandy says, Molech and Melech have the same letters, but only distinguished by the vowels. Nice point. Nice point. Although Molech you'll often get, even in the text, oftentimes you'll have the strong, this one, strong hophal, right? So it'll be clear that we're talking Molech, right? But you're right, it can be written effectively just with the one dot. She says, can we grammatically differentiate them, or only the people who knows it can differentiate? So, in Hebrew narratives, it's not a problem. I used to be the Baal Koreh, the Torah reader in the synagogue, and so, I was the guy up there with the Yad reading from the scroll, and everybody else gets the blessing. I don't get the. They come up to do the reading, and they say the bracha. I do the reading, and then so it's not a problem when you understand the vocabulary. The context shows you what it says. You're reading along, and okay, it's clear. You're not going to confuse melech with molech and stuff like that. So that's a great question. So in other parts of Scripture where it's older Hebrew, like some of Tehillim, some of the Psalms, or some of the wisdom literature, right? Mishlei, some of these other parts. A lot of times we need the vowels. We need the vowels because there's words in there that they only occur one time in the entire Hebrew Bible, or maybe just twice in the entire Hebrew Bible, right? And so you might not have seen that word for a while, right? And so when you come across it and there's no vowels, you may be able to understand what it is because you see the root, right? And Ibn Ezra points this out in his commentary on Yeshayahu, his commentary on Isaiah, that when you get one of these words that's super rare, don't worry, the answer is given in the parallel, right? Hebrew parallelism provides the answer, usually, what it means. And there's a lot of poetic stuff in Isaiah, and so you can usually know what it means, but you might not say it right without the vowels, you see? Especially such a rare word, we call it it's called a hapax legamemnon. Pardon me, legamemnon. I said plural by accident. That means from Greek, one word, one time, occurring one time, right? Or said one time, really. So in those cases, we absolutely do lean on the tradition of the vowels. Definitely need them. Yeah. And even other words that are rare, maybe only a couple times the word a dislegamemnon occurs, you're going to want those vowels. Yeah. But just narrative stuff like, and then Moses said this to the people, and then he lifted up the staff, and this happened, and all that kind of stuff. You'll be fine without the vowels. Once you know those words, you'll recognize them when you see it, and it won't be a problem. You just, a lot of the stuff in the Torah, actually, because the Torah you go through so many times, even some of the hard stuff in Leviticus, you'll probably be able to do it without the vowels, right? You just, we cycle through so much, right? So, yeah, I hope that was an okay answer for you, Sandy, and Julie, hope that was all right. Changing the vowels can change the meaning of the word. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Let's see. I gave you time to think about it. The vav. What in the world is... Okay, so I'll tell you what it means. Okay, so this is a peg. It's a peg for, connecting things together. A peg. And some would say it's a special kind of hook peg, like a hook peg. All right? So here's the reason. At the time that this was written, we were not yet using the Aramaic alphabet. This is the Aramaic alphabet, right? Hebrew today is actually one of the Aramaic alphabets, right, that we got from captivity. We thought, hey, this one works well, let's use this one. At this time, the Phoenician alphabet was being used, right? So we were using the script of the Phoenicians. That's what was being used when this was first written down. That's the so-called Paleo-Hebrew, or Paleo-Hebrew is Phoenician. Yeah, I don't know why people go, it's Paleo-Hebrew, to try to make it sound like more special. It's just Phoenician. It's the same thing. We saw their script, we liked it, great, we're going to use that. And I know there's, some of the sages say that when Israel's worth it, when we have enough Kedusha, then we will deserve to use the ancient script again, right? And again, I'm not speaking anything against the sages. Not all sages say that. There's just some opinions. And I would just say that people did not know linguistically everything that we know today back then. They had other advantages. But we do have an advantage living in the time period we live that we know about these languages. We know it wasn't even a Hebrew script. It was Phoenician. Right? We just used it because it worked. Okay? It was a nice way to represent our language, to put it down on paper. Okay? So, in Phoenician alphabet, the vowel was a stick with like 2 hooks on it, right? So when using the term architecturally, they just called those special hooking pegs a wow or a vav because that's what it looked like. Isn't that kind of cool? It'd be like if you had a hammer that had it looked like, or an anvil that looked like an A or something. You'd say, hey, give me the A, right? You could see the iron forger saying, pass me the A, or hammer that out on the A, right? Something like that. Yeah, like a hook nail. Yeah, Vicky. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Oh, by the way, a follow-up to what Sandy asked. We still will... There are still things that people do today when writing things in Hebrew, for example, to make sure that it's not ambiguous. So, for example, the word God, right? If we're talking about the one true God, we'll say Elohim, but it's written Elohim. Even if the text might spell it with a defective cholim, that is without the vav, just a dot up there, we'll write it with the vav, right? So if I want to write Elohim, I'm going to write it with the vav, and you'll see why. Let's do it up here. Okay, Elohim. Notice a lot of times in the text we don't have this vav here. Instead it'll just be a dot, right? But why do we do that? To make sure it's not ambiguous, right? Like Alehem or something like that. We put the vav there. That's the full spelling. So this also happens sometimes in the text. Sometimes you'll see things like that where there'll be like a more full, a more complete spelling. Like look over here. This is usually how we write earthworm. Well, tole'ah, but that's fine. Tola'at, as it's written here. Okay, tola'at. You could also write this. I'll do it down here in the purple so we have. You could write it as and then just the Masoretes would have corrected this with a dot like that. Notice the vav is gone. The vav, this is the full spelling. Full spelling. We expect the vav, right? So even when you don't have the dots, you see that vav, you know it's O, right? In the context that you're reading, assuming you know the word, you know it's O, right? But if a scribe left that off because you didn't have standardized spelling, these things happen. If he leaves it off, no problem. The Masoretes correct, and they just put this little dot here. It's telling you the sound is the same as if the vav is there. Okay, it's an O either way. So there are a lot of what the Masoretes do are corrections for when the vowel letters are left off. Okay. All right, nice conversations. I like these questions. Thank you for interacting. I think it's good. If you have a question, guys, chances are somebody else does too. Okay. All right, continuing. So vave, so that would have been vavavavim, vavim, right? So vavs, drop the mem, vave, a, vavs of hem, of they, right? So they're vavs, meaning belonging to the amudei shetim, the acacia pillars. You're welcome, Sandy. Okay. Okay, continuing. Zahav. You guys know Zahav? This is one of our many words for gold. This came up on the Torah portion recently. Someone was talking about keter. They brought up keter. That was a nice question because we were talking about another word that can mean crown or diadem, etc. And someone asked, well, it doesn't keter mean crown? And I'm going to bring this over here a little bit now because we're talking about, well, keter is another way to say zahav, gold. Like keter is like quality gold. Also paz is very refined gold, and Rak is like a greenish gold, and we've got all these other words for gold. But it's important, right? Important word. But the nuance, it can be nuance, right? So in one place it means gold, in another place it means crown, right? Zahav always just means gold. This is like kind of the catch-all. It is gold, okay? Zahav. Like, Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel v'choshet v'shelo, etc. You know, if you've never heard that song, check out YouTube. Look for Jerusalem of Gold, Ofra Chaza. Do yourself a favor and listen to that beautiful voice. May she rest in peace. Al arba'a adnei choshev. Okay, al, with. Al can mean a lot of things. It can mean upon or with. Arba'a, for. Notice it's arba'a. Okay. Adnei, this is from Eden. Eden, which means like a pedestal. Although some insist on sockets. You know, there's some tradition of it being sockets, but there's varying ideas on this. So, Eden, just like Melech, just like Sefer, if you want to make it the plural, Melech is Malachim, right? Sefer is Safrim, and Eden is Adnim. And then we drop the Mem, right? Just like we did up above. So now it's pedestals of choshev. And this word, if you've learned this word, it is one of our word of the days. Chesef. Usually it's spelled like this, kesef. Kesef. Why is it choshev here? See that? Oh, I think I can. Oh, yeah. Boom. Ha ha. Ha ha. We're getting this down, yo. Right there. It looks like a capital T. That's called comets. So why? Oh, sorry. This is a cursive face, Sophie. Just imagine it's just a kesef. Why did the become choshev? Choshev. It's because this little vertical bar called a seluk next to that guy. And maybe I'll colorize him. Let's. Can you guys see it? I'm going to draw over it. The little vertical bar is called a suluk, and that occurs on the last word in the verse, the suluk. That's the only place the suluk shows up. Suluk. Don't confuse it with meteg if you've learned meteg, the bridle, like the horse bridle. So, because of the way this was memorized in ancient times, adnei choshev, right? And that's just our tradition. There are lots of traditions. Anyway, all the different minhags are going to hit it hard. Boom. Because it's the last word. And it helped you to memorize the text back in the day when nobody could own their own text, right? So, the little three dots, segol, is what's called a short vowel. But the comets, the guy that looks like a T, is a long vowel. So, we'll see other lengthenings too. But so here we have the little like a little baby lengthens to choshev. Same word. Okay? So that's just a little spin on what Julie was asking about vowels changing. Sometimes they do change, but in that case it's not changing the meaning, okay? Just pronunciation. Okay. Verse Lamed Gimel, that's 33. Oh, did I tell you what it means? Pedestals or sockets, depending on your interpretation, of choshev, of silver. Okay. Let us continue. Very welcome. Okay. Verse 33. Venatata. Look, we have that long ending for ta again, right? I love that. So natanta became natata, you gave. Ve and natata, you will give. The vav changing the aspect, or set, or place. Et, we don't translate. Ha parochet, the veil, like the border curtain for the Holy of Holies and the other section. Tachat, under. Ha kerasim, not the kerosene. So hakerasim, this is another seglet. Keres, right? The planks. What's the word before pedestals? Okay, let me see. Arba'a, 4. That word is 4. That's the one you mean, right? Arba'a, 4. Make sure I didn't miss something. Hey, shalom, servant of Hashem. Betty, did I get the word you're asking about? Okay. So, al-arba'ah, with 4 adnei choshev, pedestals of silver. Okay, good. ונתתה, then you shall set or place et haparochet, the boundary marker, the veil, the curtain. Tachat, under hakerasim, the keres. Sorry, I was saying kerish before. With a scene. That one is plank, but this one is a hook. A keres with a samech is a hook. The kerasim, the hooks. V'heveta. So here we have a hefil from ba, and it's okay if you don't know what hefil is. Just think of this as a pattern. We have this special pattern where you put a hey. What's happening? When you see a hey prefixed in the front of a word, of a verb rather, okay? And you might also see a yod in there before the third root letter. If the yod's not there, sometimes you'll see a tsere under. These are all we're like language detectives here. When you see those things, it's telling you, if you know what this root means, take the meaning of that root and now make it a causative, usually a causative form of that root, okay? So ba, we know the root, ba, beit aleph, or beit vav aleph, bo to be more specific, okay? That's our root right here. Beit, and the aleph. Okay. And if you don't remember, it's from the song Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. Blessed is he, who ba comes b'shem, in name of Adonai. Hallelujah. Right? So ba is to come, or to arrive, or to enter. And then here, hey ve, sorry. Hey ve is to cause to come, or to cause to enter, or to cause to arrive. So to bring. You could say to cause to come. It just kind of sounds cumbersome in English, right? To stack all that up. You just say to bring. So, hey ve ta, that ta at the end is reminding us here of the ta, right? Ta, even though this one is a defective the way it is in most of the Bible, just like this, ta without the hey, right? Ta. So, heveta is you brought. Ve, heveta, the ve means and you will bring, and you shall bring. Shama. Sham means there. Shama is, we don't really have this in modern English anymore. This was something good about the older English. Thither, okay? Literally means towards there. This is what we call the hey lakal at the end, or the directional hey. Like Yerushalayim is Jerusalem, but Yerushalayim is Jerusalem words. Okay, Bayit is house, but Beita is homewards. Right, homeward bound. I like to say like Simon and Garfunkel. I want to be Beita. Right? See? Homeward bound. Beita with an a at the end. Sham there, Shama to there or thither. Mibeit. Mi is from, and you guys remember this? What's the full word for from? I'm not sure what our delay is here. Go ahead and try to answer. Yes, tekhelet amudim. Yes, the 4 pillars. Okay. So the word for from is, and if I don't give you credit, it's only because I'm in the future. There's a delay, so. Min is from, right? Min, this guy right here. Min, mem, chirik, nun, right? Or min, okay? And everybody knows this. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. It's kind of funny, like, and I've seen in, I can't remember what the show was I used to watch. Anyway, there's this, sometimes in Israeli shows, they make fun a little bit, nicely, it's like poking gesture, of American Jews come over to Israel, and, I know a little bit of Hebrew. Oh, what do you know? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, who brings forth bread from the earth. It's like, so, the more liberal Jews, that's like what they know. So, anyway. Okay, sorry. Min, from, and look what happened here. Here we've got the mem. We still have the hirik, the dot, and the noon is that dot inside the bait. That is this guy. He took a trip. Boom. He's inside the bait. See? Min, he contracted. Just like in English, cannot can become can't. Right? You lose an N. Here we lost an N, but it's a Hebrew N, the noon. Okay, that happens in many languages, not just Hebrew. Sandy says, did the second person singular in Old Hebrew sound anta? And later, yes. Yeah, in archaic Hebrew. Yeah, exactly. Very interesting. Was that just a... I'll finish her question. And later the noon got assimilated into the tav. See, here's what she's talking about. Look here. Now I'm going to retrace it in green because the blue is a little bit hard to see here. Very, very nice, educated guess. Now, did you just guess that because of the dagesh in there? Or have you had some experience with Semitic languages? Because in Arabic, it's still enta. Also, some dialects of Aramaic, we have it this way too. Anyway, it's very good, Sandy. I know there's a delay, so you can't answer me right away, but yeah, very good. See what she's saying? There's yes, okay, you had some Semitic language experience. Okay, great. Yeah, see? So there was a noon here, and it went in. Bloop, that's why we have the dagesh. Yeah. And so in biblical times, it wasn't pronounced like we say now. We say ata. It would have been ata. You'd hear the two tavs, right? Ata, because the enta became ata. Two tavs. Very nice. Okay. It's very nice. I told them we've already got one. Oh, yes, it's a very nice. La parochet. Okay. I didn't translate this part. Okay. Mi beit. So this looks like from house of. The word for house is bayit. A lot of times people, they know beit, but they don't know bayit. Bayit is the lexical form. Bayit. You have to buy it. If you want to own the house, you have to buy it. Okay, so just remember that. Bayit is a house. Beit means house of, right? That's why we get Bethlehem. It's Beth. It was Beth. We say Beit now, but Beth Lechem, right? House of bread. So Beit literally means mi-beit is from house of la, to the parochet, the veil, right? But in architectural terms, actually, let me not, this might be too much. Let's just say for the structure of the belonging to the parochet, the veil area, et, with, don't confuse it with the DDO, aron ha'edut. And this will be our last verse, I think. We're at 48 minutes, and we had the technical issues before. So, aron, what is... Oh, we have one more verse. Nah, maybe we'll stop with this one. Aron. Aron means like a chest, a box. In this case, ark is how we usually translate it. The ark of the Aidut, testimony. Aidut. And I think I've shared with you guys this word, Aiduth, in Akkadian means witnesses. Because whenever you made a covenant or a suzerainty treaty or an agreement between two kings, they would list all of their aidut, which were their gods, all the gods that each of them believed in, right? They'd write it on the treaty. I learned this from Dr. Heiser, by the way, may he rest in peace. And so then the idea was you had to write them all down so that if you decide to break the treaty later, you'd be punished by your gods and you couldn't select one of them to go against you. But of course, Israel is monotheist. So for us, Aidut, the kind of double meaning, on the one hand, it is witnesses, but the witnesses are the heavenly host. the Elohim. Remember, Elohim in biblical Hebrew just means residents of the spiritual realm. So the angels are Elohim also. So they're sitting there watching when Israel. So they're the witnesses when Israel makes the pact. Some people, some scholars will translate this the Ark of the Pact, which is also fine. Yeah, okay. But it's got these kind of deeper, nuanced meanings. Ah, nice, Sandy. Okay, you just guessed. You're a noob in Semitics. That was a great guess. You were correct. Okay. V'hivdilah. V'hivdilah. By the way, what's it sound like? To the Jews out there, what's it sound like? Havdalah, right? Like Havdalah. Hivdilah. Ha parochet. I almost jumped down here. Look, they're very similar. Look, kaporet and parochet. Just the letters are moved around. This one's the lid, and this is the curtain. The veil, ha parochet, will hivdilah, will distinguish or will separate. Will separate. La for chem, for you all. So chem is just like we have hem means them, right? And e means mine or me. Chem means you all. You all. La chem, for you all. Bain, between HaKodesh, literally the holy place, right? So we would probably say the sanctuary. Uvein, and between, and again, it's u because bump schwa rule, uvein, and then it's v instead of b because of BeGaD KePhaT. For those of you who care about those spellings. Uvein, and between, Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. And you'll note we do translate this the Holy of Holies, even though there's no article on the first word. If Naomi's here, I'm going to use the Naomi construct notation. One of my advanced students from the past. She checks in sometimes. She liked to annotate when we used to annotate the stuff. So that means this is a construct phrase. Kodesh, and you can kind of get a hint. See the little here, the memecha tells us he's close to the guy that's coming afterwards. And here's the saluk I told you about. No need to lengthen because the long chirik is already very long. Ha, the, because it's the holies. The, it carries over to every word in the construct chain. So even though there's no the here, we translate it into English as the usually. And you could have a whole bunch of these stacked up, right? So I could have said like, the petach, the entrance, petach kodesh hakodeshim, the entrance of the Holy of Holies. And notice I didn't say ha petach, just say petach kodesh. Or I could say the screen of the entrance of the Holy of Holies. So I could say masach, petach, kodesh. And then over there we've got the ha kodeshim. The screen of the entrance of the Holy of Holies. Because that last word is definite. It has a ha on it. It makes the whole chain the. Sometimes it doesn't sound right in English. Just leave it off if it doesn't sound right. Yes, yes. The ark places the Holy of Holy place. Yes. The ark was placed in the Holy of Holies. Absolutely. Yes. Good question. Mm-hmm. And actually, if you read the Targums, very interesting. Sometimes Moshe, when he doesn't know the answer to a question, he goes into where the ark is, where the Aron is, and he asks a question. And in the Targumim, very often it says that he would ask de memro Eloki. He'd ask from the memra of God, the word of God, and the memra, the word, gives him the answer. It's kind of interesting the way it's interpreted. Happens. People think it's only in Yonatan, but it also happens in Onkelos also. Just not as much. Okay, that's 54 minutes. I think that's good. We'll stop here, even though it's just verse 33. I think we had a Baruch Hashem. Thank you for praying. Our prayers were answered. We have to say the bracha, okay? I'll say the bracha, you say amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher shomea tefillah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who hears prayer. We got a good streaming session even after all that stuff. YouTube's even complaining, hey, you're streaming too high. The bit rate's too fast. You can slow it down. Okay, you guys have a great evening or day, whatever the case may be. Thanks for sticking around, even though we had the technical troubles before. I will be deleting the other video, and we'll keep this one up. Okay? Oh, and let me just remind you, if you'd like to give, you can always give on PayPal. paypal.me/Hebrew Literacy. Or you could feel free to join us over at Patreon. Boom. Right there. Patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy. And you don't have to pay to sign up over there, just if you want to stay in touch in case we ever get shut down over here. Lo aleinu. May it not be to us.